With us right now, Julio Maria. Julio, you are in South Africa. You are a power coach. You're an entrepreneur, and you are the we'll call you a power coach to the stars. You get to work with some great people, and I'll let you kind of explain what you do.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Josh. I'm super happy to be here today. So yeah, as a power coach, I usually help people develop a healthy relationship with power so that they can really start living life in their terms. And for me, that means that you are having not only the income you deserve, but also making that impact you desire with integrity. So you still feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah. Do you find that people struggle with that, in terms of like, kind of that balance between income, power and integrity?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Let's start with power first, right? Most of us, we have ridiculous unhealthy relationship with power, and with power we associate stuff like money, sex, influence, all those stuff, and usually most of us think those things are evil and they are mean, and by doing that we sort of shy away from our own power and our own light, and we don't show up as authentically and powerfully and really impactful as we should. And when we go deep into the three pillars of power, when we talk about income, impact, integrity, most of the times people think that in order for me to have the impact I really desire to have, I need to lose money some way, somehow. Or that if I really want to go over that income, I cannot be a good person all the time. I need to do some dirty deals and stuff like that, thus compromising your integrity.
Yeah.
And it's key when you realize that the more you impact people, like showing up fully and playing full out, the more your income will rise out of that. And you can use that income to further enhance your impact as long as you are still remaining in integrity with yourself. And people oftentimes think that integrity is just doing the right thing, but integrity with yourself, it's also challenging yourself to grow, recognizing that you're not playing full out in certain areas of your life and really going for it with everything you had, because you cannot be in integrity if you are shying away from your power, if you're shying away from your light.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you, Josh?
Yeah, I think so. Let's explore this a little bit. Listen, you got a fan here. You have no argument with any of that. I'm trying to think of cases where this might come up for folks. Let's say, for example, they're struggling financially, right? Cash flow is really biting them in the butt. They're even if they're otherwise professionally successful, listen, I mean, if you're growing or shrinking in business, you are going to have cash flow issues. But I feel like sometimes those cash flow issues, you could be tempted to, well, let's say it this way, right? You could be tempted to take bad business. You could be tempted to take a client that you probably should not take, right? That would be an example. I'm trying to think of like, where we might be out of integrity a little bit. We're not being nefarious in any way, but we're making maybe not the best business decisions. Help me 100%. Through that process. Someone is dealing with that.
I have the perfect example. So one of my clients is this amazing female entrepreneur, social entrepreneur in Timor-Leste and Southeast Asia. So she's really all about enabling women in rural areas to develop a strong income. And she's been dedicating 5 years of her life, like full time to it. And before she was doing that, working for another company. And when our paths crossway, she was at this point where she wasn't making like the money that she deserved. She was fully overworked, burned out, thinking that it was the worst decision she's ever made, and really ready to quit. And the first thing was really to just acknowledge all the hard work that she built, because one thing that's clear, and I really want this lens for you, is that you cannot build on accomplishments you didn't recognize and acknowledged. So you really need to build up on that. So first, recognizing everything that she went through and how much great stuff she have done. That was the first step. And then it was for start working on her integrity portion first of all. I mean, you cannot give from your cup forever. You'll eventually run out. You need to start giving from your overflow. But to do that, you need to be in a place where your cup is already full and you are really indulging into self-care and self-love. And just let me give you an example on that. Right now, when I say self-love or self-care, people think about bubble baths, right? Lighting some candles, wine and unwind. Those things are great, man. But if you were in a relationship where all your partner did to you was to offer coupons to spa days and give you bubble baths, and candles, and there is no apology, there is no forgiveness, there is no talking about the future, there is no healthy boundaries, this is not a healthy relationship. And most people, they are engaging in a severely abusive relationship with themselves without even knowing.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Because if you don't take the time, really, if you don't take the time to apologize yourself, like really ask for forgiveness for the stuff that you've done to yourself, and take the time to forgive yourself, there will always gonna be this belief that you are not worthy enough of that success.
Yeah,
Right?
because listen, in business or in life, we're going to make mistakes. Like, we're human. We're not like, and it is okay. I like, my ancestry, I'm 50% Finnish, and in Finland they have a national day of failing, right? And it's it's really about acceptance for when you don't accomplish a goal, or you try something new and it doesn't work out like you hoped. I've done that. I continue to do that. I think I probably fail on a daily basis. And man, kind of what you're saying, Julio, is that it really can be easy to be disappointed in ourselves. And I don't know that that's fair, because I think that if somebody else tried something and it didn't work out and they're like, man, I tried and it just didn't work out like I hoped, like I wouldn't judge them. I'd be like, man, that's awesome of you for trying so hard and doing that. But yeah, we oftentimes are our own worst critics, aren't we?
We are 100%, and we tolerate conversations with ourselves that we will never do it with someone that we actually despise, and that it really affects our business, because all of a sudden you'll see entrepreneurs trying to compensate for a meeting that didn't really went as they planned, right? So they end up trying to just offload so many offers and so many benefits for the other party, completely forgetting that, mistakes happen in business, and that's natural and it's okay, as long as you're learning from them and integrating in your business system, so that doesn't stunt your growth when you're moving forward, right? But that was like the really heavy step on integrity. And then from that place, it was like, for the specific client, it was all around, just like, take some days off, just like take a week, breathe, relax, recharge, and you can get back at it. And then something that you were mentioning is that when we take up clients that they're not really aligned with who we are and our values, we end up sometimes resenting the client. We don't show up as we should show up authentically and engaging and taking all the impact. So having the capacity to say no and to receive and embrace the no's that we are offered in life ends up adding a lot in our journeys as CEOs and entrepreneurs, especially when you're running teams where, you're taking a day off, it's okay for you, but you have a team that's depending on you, right? So all that communication and connection that should happen between different team members, especially with you as a leader, is something that will really help you to deliver that impact without feeling burned out and losing your integrity, and thus incrementing in your income in your team members as well. So it's a whole cycle. It's more of like a game of understanding where you need to make a decision next and where you need to act next to really make sure that you have all the strategies to implement.
Yeah. So take me through, like, what's a good dialogue that we can have? Like, how can we go through that process of self-forgiveness, or, I also, like, I love this, self-care and that sort of thing. I know, in business, for me, like I'm absolutely in a big push right now. And so as a result, like by the end of the day, I'm really drained, because I feel like I give it all. And so I'm kind of conflating a couple of concepts here, of this idea of self-forgiveness and self-care. But could you take us through maybe practically what that might sound like, feel like, look like?
Yeah, sure. So usually I say that whatever we're giving, even if you're giving to ourselves, you need to think about the 3 T's. So your time, your treasure, and your talent. So first of all, book a time for you to spend with yourself. And there's not a time that you're scrolling over on Instagram. You're just spending time selfishly thinking and focusing about yourself. That's the first one. And then when it comes down to your talent, it's really about you having those heavy conversations. And just first of all, acknowledge it, like, how was your day? What did you love about it? Why are you not so happy and proud about it? And there are specific exercises you can do around forgiveness and mistakes. One of them is you can have a guided visualization where you visualize that in incident it's sort of like you are holding grudge towards, and you can visualize sort of breaking that link between you and the other party and the other person, and you wishing them farewell. In your case, it could be, visualizing yourself as a kid and someone that's learning in the process. I mean, you won't beat a kid down because they broke a glass or something. They're kids, they're learning. And as an entrepreneur, doesn't really matter how experienced you are, you're always gonna find new stuff. And thus you are, inclined to make a mistake, and that's okay. So visualizing that process and letting go can help. Some other people prefer to just write down like a forgiveness letter to themselves. It also helps. When you're really just letting it go and you're saying how things went, and it's just so powerful.
Wow.
You just feel lighter, because that's the thing with forgiveness. You don't forgive for other people, you forgive it for yourself.
I love that. Write a letter, a forgiveness letter.
A forgiveness
to yourself.
letter. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Yeah,
and you can do it with
so simple, but I see how that could be impactful, because there's a release that comes from communicating, right? These, it's like, I'm unsettled, I'm feeling these feelings. I find that just talking it out, just why therapy usually works so well, right?
Yeah.
You're just talking it out. You don't even have to have someone give you advice on what to do, but just the exercise of talking it out is just so impactful. And so now, if it's something that you're like disappointed in yourself for not blah, 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 to be able to just let that go through love to yourself and writing it. I love that. That's a great concept.
Yeah, it's super powerful. And you can also do it for different stages in your life or career or even business. So let's say you made a mistake 2 years ago that was really heavy, almost cost you your business. Even though it's been 2 years ago, if you haven't forgiven that, go ahead and write a letter for that past version of yourself. And what it does to your brain is literally as if you have all those tabs open and you start to close them up. So now your brain has more capacity to focus on what really matters.
Yeah. Julio, tell me about your business, like how you operate, who you work with, what you do.
Yeah, sure. So right now in the business, we have two main areas, one for our corporate clients and one for our one-on-one entrepreneurs. So for the entrepreneurs, we offer them power coaching sessions with focus in either business, career, and life development. We offer them trainings and we offer speaking engagements. And for our corporates, we work more around knowledge consultancy. So really making sure that the organization can tap into the knowledge that is already existing within the organization and is using and communicating and sharing that knowledge in a way that enables them to harness the power of the teams and thus increase their profit. And usually, I guess, really the clients that work with me well and they really see the results are the ones that they understand that money isn't everything. It's a huge component, but isn't everything. They are willing to make a impact in the world and leave the world a better place than they found it, and they're willing to go deep into the heavy work, because again, it can be quite heavy for you to go into personal development so that you can start really going into business development. And oftentimes what I say to my client is that everyone on the planet knows if you want to have the body of your dreams and you want to burn fat and build muscle, you need to do three things: sleep right, eat right, and exercise right. So, and if you grab your phone, I'm sure you're gonna find fitness trainers, sleep coaches, nutritionists, and all that stuff. So why is not everyone in the best shape in their lives if we know the strategies, and we can actually afford them and access them? So it really comes down to a conversation around your psychology, your identity, your mindset, and your energy. Because if you don't believe that you are someone that can have those things, and if you don't have the right mindset to help you interact with the world in a way, you will never show up with the energy that will allow you to not only implement, but create the strategies that are going to work for you.
Yeah, that's great. Julio, for someone that wants to connect with you, like how do they find you? And before we get into that, can you tell me about? I know you're participating in a project called Never Done Before, and that's on the web at neverdonebefore.org. Tell me about this.
Yeah, sure. So I really loved and connected with the idea because I've been facilitating for 10 years almost now. And something that I always struggled was to keep innovating and getting the new trends while I was still delivering and running my business as usual. And we'd never done before. It was a great opportunity for everyone that is inclined or engage into knowledge-based businesses, or even just running and managing teams, to get a chance to not only just get the latest trends in facilitation and team management, but also start creating those trends and implementing them. So think about it as your own personal research and development department that you don't need to pay the whole cost that, let's say, Apple pays for their research and development department. So you get access to talent, to people with brains, with skills, and they can help you troubleshoot whatever you're going through in your knowledge pursuit or knowledge journey.
Yeah. So when somebody goes to neverdonebefore.org, what is it?
Yeah. So right now it's a digital residency. So you have monthly sessions. They're very hands-on, very practical. And most of the sessions is actually the participants telling what challenges they are facing. I believe they had just one now yesterday around pricing and how you can really define your prices depending on where you are in your business. And then it all accumulates with this huge festival in November, where you have world-class facilitators coming in and sharing with you the secrets they have never shared before. So super value in it.
Yeah, excellent. All right, good. So Julio, someone's been listening to us and like, I like what this guy's talking about. How do people connect with you? How do you recommend folks engage with you online?
Yeah. You're like a good online entrepreneur, you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Julio Muhorro. I know that's hard, but it's JULIOMUHORRO. Just drop me a DM. It's me answering those questions. I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, excellent. All right, good deal. So Julio Maria, again, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fantastic. I appreciate some really great tips today. And I hope someone has jotted this down, and you do it, right? You start with that. Think of everything, like any grudge you're holding against yourself. Think of like anything that you're a little too hard on yourself about, right? And just, let's let it go. Let's forgive ourselves with, for those things so that we could truly show up in the world with the impact that we want. And as a result, the natural outcome of, again, that integrity and impact, you will do all right financially.
Absolutely.
The universe is going to show up and say, you know what, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Here's more money.
100%. Thank you very much for having me, Josh.
All right, Julia. Thank you.